Alright, welcome back. Hope everyone's having a lovely day, a lovely night wherever you're from. And real quick before we get started, as always, I want to give a lovely shout out to the channel members on this channel. So thank you so much to these lovely commanders here that you see on screen. Thank you guys so much for your guys' constant generosity and support to me as always. It really means a lot to me, so thank you guys so much. And if you guys are actually interested in becoming a lovely commander yourself, if you are interested in any of these cute and lovely emotes, the loyalty crown badges, you want a special role in the Discord, make sure to join the Discord. But as always, if you choose to do so, thank you so much. Just remember that's not the only way that you can support me. Just watching the content like you are right now is truly the best way. Liking, subscribing, and commenting, everything really does help, so thank you guys so much. And for today's video, just like the title says, is Shift Up starting to hate free-to-play players? Let's talk about it. And a quick PSA before I talk about it as well. I'm going to be talking about this from the perspective of pretty much a day one player at this point, and pretty much a big whale. So I'm not free to play by any means. However, I'm noticing this trend, and a lot of people are feeling this as well. Seen a lot of sentiments, especially in my comment section. A few people have also dropped the game because of how often these limited time banners are. And I kind of want to talk about it because I feel that it's important to. Because even though if you're a whale or a big spender, doesn't matter, because free-to-play players are important for the ecosystem of a gacha game, for any game. And the reason why this kind of all came up on my mind was because we just got the 1000 days event, and I knew I was going to make this video depending on if we only got one multi, because I figured that would be the case, and it turns out to be true. So let me scoot on over and let's talk about it. And right now, I know the screen looks weird because I have some stuff in the background we're going to talk about later, but right now, for the actual thing that we're talking about first, it is this 1000 days present. 1000 days of Nikke, right? And we are getting one multi. One rainbow multi. And it's not all at once. It's going to be broken down into a 5-day period, which is fine. I'm glad we're still getting a multi because a multi is still something. But I feel like this is something that we need to talk about, and it's the fact that it's kind of getting out of hand with all these limited banners without trying to compensate for the amount of pulls that we're getting. Because if you think about where we were at before, we went from Stellar Blade into a near rerun with Sora using fake pulls. By the way, I just want to be real clear. It is a third currency that you can use for this banner. It was a third currency that, even though it added pity, it didn't count for like actual normal pulls. And you only got 29. You didn't even get a full 30. I remember seeing people talk about that. You only got 29. It wasn't even a full 30. I thought that was funny. But then you expect us to go from this rerun into summer with not only the new banners, we have a 1% limited banner now, which is crazy. And I feel like a lot of people aren't talking about it as much. I know I saw Sephi make a fantastic video on this, but the fact that we are getting 1% limited banners more and more is concerning without the compensation that we're seeing. Because this could all the way go back to like even Ava Wave 1. Because with Ava, it was different because even though we were getting the same amount of currency, we were getting more and more banners and we weren't getting compensated for that. The triple banners and then the rerun of Ava, so it was like pretty much 5 banners with the same amount of currency since the rerun shop wasn't accessible. So that was really unfortunate, and now we have 1% limited banners, not getting compensated for it, getting similar amount of pulls to last year, and not trying to account for that 1% is tough, especially for a character that's not going to be added to the wish list. So a lot of people cannot bank for the wish list this time. And I know some people are going to say, oh, well, boo, that's fine because we have the wish list set up. We always can try to go back to it, but the wish list is something that you can never account for. And now with someone like Dorothy, that's not going to be possible. So it really does screw over everyone, especially with these constant banners. People aren't able to grind resources as much. We're going from Stellar Blade to a near rerun to summer. Not many people are able to save as many gems or grind as much as they can to try to account for it. And at the end of the day, gacha's up to your wallet at this point. I know some people who couldn't keep up and they just gave up with the game, and that sucks. I know people enjoy this game, and Nikke is one of those things where it's become so known for being this free-to-play friendly game, but now that's starting to be more questioned because of how many more limited banners we are getting. And I know a lot of people are thinking, well, I can bank on my pity, but if we keep getting more and more pity that we need to use for a lot of these 1% banners, are we going to have any left? Now for me, I'm pretty much chill. I'm kind of vibing right now. However, let's say that we go to Annie, that's 2 1% banners right there, for sure. Who knows, maybe we'll get a third 1% banner at some point. But then we have Christmas, knowing now that we have this precedent with having a 1% banner in the summer, who knows what we can get in winter. And I know a lot of people, for some reason, get really excited about 1% banners because it's probably meta. But that's not healthy for a game. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't understand that perspective. And that's coming from a whale. I don't mind. I'm just talking about it from anybody low spender or even free to play that are having trouble. I don't get it. But it is what it is. What doesn't help is that they also try to account for the 1% by including the recruitment benefits. But the recruitment benefits is one of the worst things I've ever seen in a lot of gacha games. A lot of other gacha games do have recruitment, like, you know, benefits to pay you back. However, this is awful and filled to the brim with nothing but like maintenance kits to start you off, and the steps to get there is not worth it at all. So I really don't understand it, but I hope that maybe in the future we do start seeing more resources. Obviously the Annie is definitely somewhere we're going to see a lot more resources. However, when we get summer events where the freebies feel lackluster, even though they were same till almost last year, but trying to account for a 1%, all those freebies are gone towards Doro, or if you just used your pity, you just lost like a whole ass pity for another pilgrim. So it sucks all around. And not even accounting for just this though, but if we go talk about like the collabs and stuff, I remember back, we used to get like a hype up week where we'd get a multi like throughout the week, right? Like you do the whole login event for the week, you get a multi or even 5 pulls before the collab, and they kind of took that away. And I feel like that's just like one of those little things where they start adding up more and more. And now with the whole rerun currency and everything, getting more banners for less pulls. And more unfortunate is that I feel like this is just more of like a community skill issue thing. But we are definitely getting a lot more less random 10 pulls than we used to in the past. Because I remember with Nier, I believe we hit top grossing, I think. And then we also got a random multi around that time as well, because of something they won for like a Korea award show or something like that. And especially with viewer like hits and stuff, they are giving less and less pulls when it comes to watching streams. They don't actually give a reward. It was something about giving out a random card or something like that, like a golden card, rather than giving away a 10 pull. And it's all those little things that just start adding up, and it just kind of leaves a sour taste, you know? And I know a lot of people are starting to feel this way, but maybe I'm just overthinking it. Maybe I'm just being too harsh, but I wanted to know what your guys' thoughts are. But this is all coming from the word of mouth of a whale, but I want to talk about it because it's very important to be vocal, because I love this game, but I also wanted to do even better. And I know a lot of free-to-play players in my comments as well have a similar sentiment. So am I being dramatic? Let me know. If you have a similar take, give me your honest thoughts in the comments. Love to hear your perspective on it. I really do. With all that yapping out the way, I think that is going to be it from me. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Am I being too annoying about it? Am I being kind of too negative about it? Am I doom posting? Let me know, but I really do feel that way. But like I said, I'm kind of chilling. I just want to give my, you know, honest thoughts to the community. Just give my perspective on it. So let me know. That is going to be it from me. Hope you guys have a lovely day, a lovely night wherever you're from. And as always, thank you so much for the constant support. Take care and have a good one.